few things that I want to look at. There are 6 things that we want to see. Understanding your timelines. So just want to quickly talk about the final selection criteria of some of the schools. We have not picked up all the schools. We want to focus on a few things, and we look at discuss a few things about interview, the VAT, and the key things about what you should do right now and what are the sort of programs that on offer from Career Launcher if you wish to join. So we'll start with understanding your time. This is something that we discussed so sort of in the previous session, but we should say this: we are here now. This is on the 6th. Typically, the results of the cat will come out somewhere here. I think somewhere here. I'm just putting 7th here, just a rough
Last
thing.
year it was earlier, so it might also
Ah,
come
so
at the end of
somewhere here.
December.
So end of December, somewhere here. Let's put somewhere here the results will come out. Once the results come out, at least the top IM start putting putting the call letter out. So before they have the result, I think they have already worked in. So the call will probably start coming somewhere here. At least some of the IM, some IMs comes later, and some of the non-IMs. The IM actually gives the call letter to the non-IM. Then the call data to non-IM. Then they will start their process. And typically, we can safely say that the interview would start from February for almost all the colleges. They travel city by city. And one other thing is somewhere here is that once the call letter comes out, so there is a form where you have to write stuff like why you want to do an MBA, who are you, if specific question interview has. That typically will happen somewhere here. I will remember that the SOP, statement of purpose that I am Bangalore wants. I am Bangalore wants you to write a 600-word essay, statement of purpose of who you are. Okay, that's the entire story about who you are. I'm Bangalore wants a letter of recommendation from 2 people. I am Ahmedabad does not have too many stuff. They say I'm Calcutta as an essay, and that let's say deadline sometimes happens here. So imagine a situation when you waited till the results to come, you call letter happen, and then you start thinking in this particular case, this is a struggle that you're going to have, right? Which is also the reason why if so the first you checked your percentile predictor, you have a reasonable bet that I'm going to get some calls, right? And at that point in time, while you're preparing for the examination, it is you want to utilize the time that you have doing something which is to gear towards prepping for your interview. So that's why this particular session is important, which is why we thought about actually having this session immediately after the percentile prediction happen. Okay, so before sort of I move forward, I will pick up perspective GP and Sazil on sort of this thought about this timeline. Yeah, GP want to add anything? Sazil want to add anything on this?
No, essentially that what I said earlier, I'll probably repeat the same thing that you need to start preparing for interview. If you think you're likely to get a interview call from a college, you'll be happy joining. So just don't delay. The earlier you start, the better it is. And one thing which Jijo had mentioned, which was again in the previous session, very very important. When institutes give you interview call, they expect you to, most of them, not all, most of them expect you to write fill up a form and submit, or write a SOP within about a week of the interview calls. So you don't have too much time. So, and that can be done only if you are well prepared, because umpteen number of times we have seen students is filling up the form and submitting it without giving it a thought. And later on in the interview preparation, we have to deal with those situations when what we have written and what you mean to write are two completely different things. So just be careful about that.
Uh, I think that says it all. So don't wait. Don't wait. Okay. So just repeating, maybe the fear of repeating it. Uh, Calls can sometimes come out in March also,
Yeah.
and interviews can happen in May also. For example, FMS is the best example. जो अप्रैल में मई में इंटरव्यूज करते हैं और रिजल्ट भी लेट निकालते हैं, बच्चे एंड तक वेट करते रहते हैं कि सर IIM लूं या IFMS का वेट करूं, क्या करूं मैं. That kind of thing always happens. So guys, start now, because you don't know when it is going to happen. So Jijo has already mentioned this timeline, right? ये पूरा timeline important है आपके लिए, all the way till April May, right? Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah. So sort of I'm not put up complete data here. So basically to fill the next slide, I looked at the individual website in terms of what they have put in. Some of the schools have not updated what is the criteria for this year. Some schools are using the last one. But I put a combination of what is available. just to give this sense. So let me just explain this graph. This is a final call weightage. This is not the interview call car. So the final call weightage has got a personal interview, writing ability test. Writing ability test is a topic is given and you write an essay, something that you're going to do in ZAT, for example. Group discussion. So far, only IFT has mentioned. IFT had group last year, therefore is mentioned. I don't know what is going to be this year issue this year. Most of the school have actually scrapped group discussion. Some of the school, at least the website does not say that there is an interview of a VAT writing ability test, and then they will allot certain weightage for the CAT score and the profile score. Profile score is your 10, 12 graduation and stuff, right? Here, one thing that you got to understand is this. So if I look at, for example, let's look at some call. Look at IIM Calcutta, for instance. This is your CAT score weightage. So the difference between your score, CAT score, and somebody else's CAT score is going to be not very huge for those of you who got a call. Right? There might be certain variation with respect to this, of which is your profile score and stuff. There are going to be hardly too much of a difference between your score and somebody else's score. But if you just focus on the personal interview, इसमें ना zero से लेके यहाँ तक मिल सकता है. Right. If you have a horrible interview, you can get a 0. You can have amazing interview, you can get to this. So even though there are some, for example, certain colleges which seems to have sort of, and this was based on last year's NIT's weightage, seems to have low weightage. Even that will have a substantial impact. Because your actual score, if you look at IFT CAT scores, they're not going to be too different. What is this, a 97 percentile score with a 99 percentile score difference? But this interview difference is going to be huge. So, which is why we believe that the interview is make or break. Right. So interview, even for example, this particular weightage that you have for writing ability test, I'm going to call it analytical writing test. I'm Bangalore's writing ability test. I'm Calcutta writing ability test. It will have sort of a substantial impact to this. Just to give you a sense, look at sort of, for example, this sort of gap, and for example, I am Lucknow, this gap, and look at this this place. Imagine you are here, somebody else is here. Okay, this is you, this is someone else, and this is the current gap that you have. Let's say in the interview, the other person got a 0 and you are here. And I'm saying that this itself will be able to cover up a lot many other things that happen. So the key is that this interview you should ignore. I think once a CAT is done, nothing you can do about it. Once a profile score, nothing can be do about it. What you'll have in your hand is a substantial chunk of weightage that is left for interview and the writing ability test. Right. So with that,
And just to add to this part,
yeah,
a very high CAT score does not mean anything in the interview. Interview,
correct.
you are starting from zero. Secondly, in the interview, typically they'll have a minimum score required to move to the next stage. People get rejected in the interview also. There are three categories of students in the interview. Definite to be selected, which means you'll get a very high score in the interview. Out of 40 marks, they could give you 37, 38, or even 40. Definitely to be rejected, that means if the interview minimum score required is 10, let me assume they'll give you 8 marks. No, I don't want this kid in my institute, even if he or she is very good. And then they are intermediate, maybe. There's a definite yes, definite no, and a maybe candidate. A maybe candidate means he gets nothing great about him, but nothing seriously wrong about the kid also. So yeah, let's let the weighted average come into play. But the maybe candidates never make it. They don't make it because the definite candidates always have such a high score in the interview that it covers up for all their gaps. So when you're preparing for the interview, your target is to be in the definite yes, that based in the interview बोले यार इसको तो पक्का ले लो, which means in a 40-mark interview they should give me at least 35 marks if not more.
Yeah. Cecile, anything you want to add here?
No, I think we are good to go. Good to go ahead.
So I think just to pick up what GP has said, okay. So first of all, if you generally look at if there is, let's say 10 marks weightage for VAT, or let's say 40 marks weightage for interview, the scores that they should be preparing for is 40 out of 40. The score that you prepare for is 10 out of 10. Your interview experience should be such that so basically, if I ask this question, you had an interview with someone, how long should that person remember you? How long should that person remember you? Typically, look at what happened, right? So one interview happened. So if you generally look at the story of the interview, I think we are running here, but imagine the story of the interview. Let's say the first person comes out of 10, Out of 40, चलो ठीक है, उसको दे दिया 30 marks. दूसरा आ गया, I can compare very easily. Is better than 30, less than 30, according to that. The moment you have 3, 4, 5 interviews, it's very difficult to calculate, put a marks, and they're doing it every single day. For you, interview is some special thing. For the B school, they've been doing every year. They're running around here and there and doing this. It's horrible for them to actually mark. So the question is, once the interview is done, how long should that person remember you? And my answer is till death. You should have an experience in that interview that you're going to be in this definite X category, and to ensure that whatever call that you have, you put up best foot forward. So I'm absolutely in agreement with what GP says, which brings to this question about mastering the interview. And we made the case that whatever happens, we have to get 40 out of 40. And I'm going to make things very simple here. uh, in terms of what I believe interview is. Interview is the art of selling your story. Tumhara kahani hai. And let me also say that what is selling means. Selling is truth well told. There is a general perception mein interview mein gyas leke kar sakta hai. There is general perception that people have, GP, that they're always feeling that this is me, someone else is better than me. मेरा जिंदगी में हुआ क्या? And when the reality is that you have got a unique experience in your life, they're unique to you, and there are a lot of things that you don't value about your life because it is so used to it. You cannot look back to like think about value. And now is the time to look at all the things, the small thing that you did, the people that you helped, and the things that you participated, the challenges that you faced, even failures. And whatever be your situation, you took a gap for your preparation of a cat. Own it. Don't try and tell a lie. Well, I was working with what do you mean? I'm working with family business. Don't give any excuse. If you're genuinely working with family business, put it in. There is no need to tell a lie. I think truth brings a lot of confidence. I am a truthful person. But the key thing is about it's an art, so it's about well told. So the key about preparing for the interview, at the core of it, at the very core of it, the interview is about absolutely about your story. I just want to, before I give it to GP, I want to talk about these things. So let's look at CV. CV is curriculum vitae. You know the meaning of this word? Uh, I think this is Latin. You know the meaning of this word? This curriculum vitae, CV ka meaning. This meaning of this word is story of your life. You know what the meaning of this word resume? Resume is French, is a summary of who you are. CV is not curriculum. This is not academic. A lot of people believe that curriculum CV is academic stuff and resume non-academic. At the end of the day, this is about your life story of life. Please always understand this. Understand this reality. If this is who you are, this is a B school. B school is eventually has to customers of B school is the industry. B school will have to place students in various industry, and industry could be multiple. There is, I think there is a myth that people have. The B school is looking at a particular profile. वो extrovert होना चाहिए, मतलब उसका अंग्रेजी ठीक होना चाहिए. B school ये दिख रहा है, analytical होना चाहिए. ऐसे क्यों? B school need consultant. B school this. B school created me. B school created GP. B school created Sajil. B school also created I don't know. I think if we look at business schools, even CEOs. B school created multiple. B school created movie director Mani Ratnam, JBIMS. I don't know how many of you know it. B school created Harsha Bogle. This is absolute versatile. B school does not have a particular idea. B school is only interested in you. Whatever is your story, please understand this about MBA. MBA is not MBA is managing anything. At the end of the day, you decided, sir, all I'm going to do is I'm going to get into farming. I want to be a better farmer. Uske liye I want to learn management principle. Fair enough. Let's do. I want to run a crash for puppies. मुझे ये करना है लाइफ में है. I want to join consulting. I want to join this. I want to join that. Anything. The B school does not care. They don't have any specific guidance. All they want, and I will say, I'll use the word mad. All they want, people who are motivated to what they want to do. People have do you have the ability to what you want to do? Do you have the discipline? Will you come to the class, sit there? They just want to have somebody who is good, who will value that education, and that's well. B school is not looking for someone who is extraordinary. It's B school is looking for you. So all you have to do is understand what your story is, and do believe in that story. If you believe in your story, and you have to believe, that's all you have. It's a story that all you have. So you believe in the story, then you sell the story, you get there. And that's what interview is about. I'll take the
So
perspective of
I just
GP.
want to
Yeah,
put a question here, which
yeah.
you already answered. So I was going to say the same thing. You believe your story. So the question here is very simple, sir. What if I have a very generic story?
You
If you
can.
believe
What is
your
it?
story, and if
Like,
you tell your story right, if you have conviction, and if you
first
are
of all,
able
first of
to
all, first of all, first of
communicate,
all, एक सेकंड, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जेनरिक किसने बोला? किस तूने सबका स्टोरी दे सुना है क्या? पूरा पूरा सब all the people applying for the CAT, you have to spoken to them. ये जेनरिक क्या है? Well, sir, I'm an
how do you
engineer
define?
doing this. How do you what is generic? Are you saying that every single student in your college is exactly the same, having the same aspiration, same interest, same stuff? ये problem है. When the moment you say your story is generic, you don't value what you have done. I think this is very common for people to assume that the story is generic. I understand. It's very difficult for me to look back and say, because I don't feel a lot of the things that I've done is great. Lot many people, for example, say that, sir, आपका जो we have English का capability is very good. I consider no, it's very common, natural. I don't value a lot many things that I've done. But the truth of the matter is that there is no such story as generic. You have a unique experience, and the whole process, the entire preparation starts from going to a past. You have to basically understand this, that so you've got your past and you've got your future. The future nobody cares. Like, what do you want to do 5 years down the road? तो कुछ भी बक सकता है ना. How will I trust what your future is? I am going to bet on things that you've done in your past. What have you done? Okay, you've gone to a college. What have you studied? Do you know the subjects? Acha, you've been interested in this. What have you done there? Do you have knowledge in this that you're claiming? Acha, you're saying this. You. I think we are going to the past, and whatever be your past. And some people have a lot of extracurricular activities. Some people don't. Some people have this interest. Some people have that. Some people have done this. Some people have done that. You may have done whatever you have done. I'm sure that at the end of the day, it's about going to the past. And I'm sure you've left your sort of a life. You may be doing gaming, but within that also, I'm sure that you've picked up some skills, you've picked up learning from it, whatever time that you invested in, whatever you're invested in. So it's about going to look into your past and digging it out, and then selling the story. Sorry, I've sort of picked that up and said it, but there you go.
So
Yeah.
I have taken another question, which is interesting. Is this session for everyone? So I think you missed the initial part, but yes, it is for everyone. You will get a call now or later, right? Maybe in January, February, March, but you need to start preparing now because you don't know when you'll get it. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, this session is for everyone.
It's always. Yeah, GP,
And
आपका.
in case by chance someone doesn't get the call, right? In any case, you that's an immense learning there is, right? Whether you go for a job or something else, right? So you should start preparing, is what I feel.
Those of you basically saying that let's look at a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, एक लेते हैं, मतलब at the end of the day MBA करता हूँ. Okay, this is your prep. है ना? This is a reality. You assumed you got a call, and you prep for it. You assume that you're not going to get a call, or did not prep for it. Reality is you did not get a call, you got a call, right? You assumed you got a call. Life is good, right? Huh? Life is good. This is a nice way you prepare for it. You did not assume you get a call. You did not prepare for it. Fine, it's still fine. ये वाला situation between these two realities, which is worse? You thought you will not get a call. You got a call, but you did not prepare for it. This is a dangerous place. It is still okay. You prepared for it. Call nahi aaya, theek hai yaar. But at some point in time, you have to do your interview prep and stuff. So it's always going to be helpful. So I'll always err on the side of preparing. So that's what I'll say. Yeah. GP.
Yeah, Gigi, I'll focus only on a couple of things. The first is what your written sales is equal to truth. I think that is extremely important, and many a times I find students creating stories. Okay, for example, you said I worked in my family business. You have worked in your family business, great. If you have not, don't worry about it. You dropped the year to prepare for GE, that's okay. Tell them that I dropped the year for GE. So the basic thing is you should be completely honest and truthful in the interview. If you are not an honest or a truthful person in the interview, 99.9 out of 100 times I will find out you have not been honest with me. And if you're not honest with me even in one question, how can I be confident of your answers in the others? You will be rejected straight away. So I want you to be honest and truthful in the interview, not for any altruistic reason, but because it's a question of your survival. If you are not honest, you will get rejected. If you are honest, you will get selected. That is the first thing. Okay. Second thing, again, I'll pick up that question which Sadil has picked up. I have a very generic story. Generic का मेरे को नहीं समझ आता. Are you telling your batchmate in engineering he and you have exactly the same experiences in life? Did you both of you fall for the same girl? Did both of you enjoy the same subjects? Did you both of you enjoy the same movies? No. Your interests are different. We think everything is generic. No, everything is not generic. And which is why what Gijo said, your life is completely different from someone else's life. And this interview is about your life story. It is your life and your story which is important, not someone else's. And your life story is unique. Even if you have a twin brother or sister, their stories are going to be completely different from your story. So please get out of this trap of अब की कुछ किया नहीं है, बहुत ordinary सी है. जो भी किया है, there are positives in it, there are negatives in it, there are learnings in it, there are achievements in it, there are fears in it, there are failures in it. Please own up all of them. They are part of you, and each one of them is going to be useful in the interview.
Right. So there is a sort of two aspect in terms of what actually is going to happen. One is a written aspect. So this is what I've talked about. There are going to be before, let's say when the call is going to come out. So once the calls come out, every institute will ask you to write some stuff. Whether they read it or does not read it, that's a different issue. But they will ask you to write stuff. This could be questions. For example, I am Bangalore as an SOP. I am Ahmedabad. Don't have too many questions. Well, if you have work experience, then you can write something. If you have a gap, there is stuff to gap here. They say they ask you to write. I am Calcutta. Ask a few questions. Some college asks strength, weakness, liko, ye liko, wo liko. So once you have written it, please understand this is going to be used by the interviewer. Yeah, तुमको जो बोलना है, and whatever the thing is whatever is written has to reflect what is that you want to communicate, right? So this you have to take this. This is also as important as eventually what is going to happen in the interview stage, right? So I have had people. So I remember somebody GP who had done. I think this was probably about 6, 7. I think every year I remember a lot of many people who are. There is one person who had done. I am Bangalore SOP. He had some 6 revisions. He said every single time he wrote. He just had one call. I am Bangalore, बस बाकी कुछ मिला नहीं उसको. So 6 revision करके उसने लिख के you thought about what I have to write. Okay, is it good? Is it bad? How do I put this? This in itself is a different sort of session in terms of how do we write. A lot of people write flowery English, not needed. I think it's about sort of writing something that is makes sense. So this is sort of one aspect of it, and the second aspect is interview. I will sort of give it to you in terms of
before you go to the interview, I'll just interject here and
Sure.
take forward what you said, the language part. That some people will get fuzzy language. My request to all of you is please don't use Chat GPT for your story. I know there will be a huge temptation. Yes, it will get good, I say very good language, but that is not going to be your language. So if I'm in the interview, I read your SOP and I hear you, I will see two different people, which means you are cheating me. You think I'm an idiot, I'll not be able to make out, and that will be a good enough reason for the interviewer to reject you.
Also,
Chat GPT use भी कहते हो, please अपनी language में उसे convert कर देना. तुम्हारी अंग्रेजी जैसी है, your answers, your essay has to be in the same language which you speak in.
So actually, GP, there's a certain format in which ChatGPT responds. So if someone who's used ChatGPT enough, like Gijo or like me, we would be able to see that ये ChatGPT ने लिखा है. Language से, format से, syntax से, हर चीज से. Right. And secondly, in fact, I want to take this opportunity here that ChatGPT is quite generic in that sense also, because if you do a couple of iterations, you might come towards a similar answer in that sense. Right. I was just having a discussion with the tech head today at CL. Now, what we have come out with is also a specifically trained, right, by CL Ventures. We have trained a particular AI, and we are coming out with it as a usage product for everyone. We might give a free use also. One possibility of that doing soon. Maybe in a few days, 2 or 3 days, we'll be able to launch this. So you can actually check your SOPs and your stories in that as well. Hopefully, it will come out very soon. So please wait for the space. I will inform you.
And then Angrezi is not important.
Angrezi is not important.
तूने लिखा क्या उसके अंदर? I have seen lot many sources. I've seen SOP where SOP में लिखा है there's 600 words. 400 word is praising I am Bangalore. तो I am Bangalore बोला तो अपना story तो लिख. People are random things specifically लिख. तूने बचपन में क्या था? So what happened in your school days? Okay, so this itself, I think the starting point would be to just list down everything that you have done, whether you find it important, does not important.
No. No.
I'm sure GP I'll ask people to write ना, आप बोलते हो ना, लिखो तुम्हारा स्टोरी पेपर में, हाँ, तो जितना जो भी जिंदगी में किया पहले से बचपन से कथकली whatever, I don't know, but yeah.
Jijo.
Yeah.
So I have this way of asking students to put down a laundry list of things, small and big, that they've done first of all. स्टोरी लिखने से पहले तूने जो भी छोटा बड़ा किया है जिंदगी में वो लिख दे. उसके बाद उससे स्टोरी बनाना शुरू कर. रिमूव, यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू डन सो मेनी थिंग्स. पहले तो बैठ के लॉन्ड्री लिस्ट अगर बनाएंगे ना तो वहीं पे बहुत सारा बड़ा बुके बन जाता है. देयर इज अ बुके ऑफ थिंग्स दैट यू डन that comes out very easily. So yeah, writing is important. Then you start writing your story from there.
Yeah,
that's what I suggest.
Yeah, the lot of mechanism that you can use. At the end of the day, it's about going back. So this exercise is going to be self-discovery. It's going to be a fascinating thing to do. So that is why a lot of people after doing the interview feels that it's going to be very different from preparing for it. It has to be very unique to you. So you don't have to look at what this guy said, what that guy said. उससे बोला ये बोला, तुम्हारा एक पर्सन होना चाहिए. And other with interview, anything goes. मतलब कुछ भी पूछता है. तो तेरा graduation subject, कभी कभी little bit of maths, तेरे गांव के बारे में. So most of the stuff that is being asked would be something that is relevant to you, right? So for example, you as a person has a particular interest which you have stated. You are in a particular city, you are town. You are for example doing a particular job. You have stated a particular interest. You believe that you want to say this. You said that I've done stuff like this. So how do I test whether how depth of knowledge that you have, right? How do I test? And a lot of tests is based on knowledge. I'm going to test your knowledge. For example, I love cricket. अगर तू claim करता है, मैं उसको पूछूंगा ना क्या है ये बता, बॉल का वेट बता, okay, कुछ भी मैं पूछना शुरू कर, so depth कितना है. So there are a lot many questions which is tech. The depth is just using a lot of knowledge that you have on stuff. And in some interview, they'll give you opportunity for you to say, tell me about yourself. Very rarely, I found people starting, tell me about yourself, be very sort of unstructured, but you'll always have opportunity. So if you know, if you figured out what your story is and the key things that you want to look at, and if you're aware of it, you know how to sort of plug in during the conversation. So sort of that's is important in sort of in these two cases.
One question that was put up a while back. I'm just putting it back on. अच्छा ये एकदम random question है, so I'll still take it. Any special session for SP Jain? Yes, there'll be a session which will happen specifically. In fact, if you have taken up PDP with CL, you will be called for it. Because I took this question up because it's a very interesting thing. इस जगह पर mention करना चाहिए. We are talking about personal interviews, but SP Jain has a habit of conducting group interviews. Very interesting format.
By and large, the same thing only. So if you look at the experience group interview, Pehla wala interview is probably 1 or 2 questions. So they have 2 rounds. There are 3-4 people sitting here. Normally the first question is asking one by one about something. Tell me about yourself, and then a few questions.
And then they start throwing the question from one person to another.
They don't. At least they have not done that in round number 1, right? So they ask individual question to people. So basically, they have group interview to what I don't know the reason why they have it. Probably they want to quickly go through the process. They do one question, and the second round is where anything goes. It could be a discussion. There could be here and there. But it's sort of group dynamics come into play. But even in that situation, the core remains, irrespective whether you have a group or otherwise. You are someone. But yeah, you should sort of have the experience of that. GP, you want to add something here?
No, nothing specifically. SP Jain is like any other interview is my starting point. If you are well prepared for the other, SP Jain also can be taken care of. The only additional thing is because it's a group interview, you need to be also conscious of the fact that apart from you, there are 4 other people and you need to pay sufficient attention to what they are saying also. That's all.
Yeah. Up like step 1, and if you look at general prep, right? General prep is, so one of the problems that happens in interviews, make kya padhu. I think it's impossible for us to study everything, right? It's impossible to look at whatever knowledge. There are certain things that is okay not to know. I mean, somebody is going to ask me who's the president of Zambia. ठीक है, I don't know. But if somebody is going to ask me who is your father, then I should know that answer to that question. But there are certain things that you cannot know. Certain things you must know, right? And you should figure out what are the things I want to plug in. A lot many things you're going to remove. What are the kind of stuff that I have to build on? So you can sort of think about interview prep as two things. First is your skeleton, basic body skeleton. Second is muscle, building sort of muscles, and third is skin, or the outward thing, how to communicate and stuff. The starting point, I think where you start off with is your basic skeleton. You can simply look at, let's say, your first standard, second standard, third standard, fifth standard, 10th standard, 11th, 12th, semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, semester 4, semester 5, semester 6, semester 7, semester 8, and then you have, let's say, I don't know, years experience: April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan. Okay, ये अब तुम्हारा एक कहानी है. List down what all stuff that you've done here. ये इधर मैंने ओलंपियाड किया था, इधर मैंने कुछ किया था, ये वाला जगह पे मैं किया था, 11th 12th ये था, स्कूल हेड था, सेमेस्टर 1 और सेमेस्टर 2 के बीच में आई डिड फन इंटर्नशिप, ये इधर मैंने ये किया था, उधर मैं वो किया था. I think listing down the stuff that you did. Okay, this is one thing. Okay, in the job में ये मेरा journey था, these are the things that is done. So sort of have a sort of list it down and create a template, right? Create a skeleton. That is your step number one. Once you create a skeleton, you identify ये मुझे important है, ये मुझे important है, ये important है, ये important है. तो उसका muscle मतलब उसका knowledge build करना है, इसका knowledge build करना है. I've done this graduation. Obviously, graduate subject का knowledge build करना है, and I will study this. Then you have a list of stuff that is okay. I'll cover these many things, and then you make a plan. And the third is, how do I communicate this to someone? How do I say this thing to someone? That's about practicing mock PI, interview practice, and stuff. And so the key is this building of skeleton is something that you can do now. I mean, you can do now when a free time. You can create whichever is a structure. It is not necessary that you should write a book. Say you create a structure. जो भी लिखा है, ask your parents, ask your friends. Okay, tell me some 3 things that I've done that I missed out on. The people that you trust, people that you know, and then you sort of list everything. Whatever small thing. I think here what you need to do is don't attach any value to anything, right? So please understand what is the truth. What is the truth in something, right? We only have data. For example, I have dance. I did a lot of dance in my 6th standard. I'm saying about me. Okay, I did a lot of dance. How important was this choreography dance? Is something I used to do. How important the truth of I did this dance, and I'm looking at, for example, currently I'm into education, right? This is sort of truth number, the data number 1. This is data number 2, and I can obviously create a truth which is connecting these 2 things together. I can, if I think about stuff. Whatever you have done here, whatever you've done there, you put a line between. Is there any connection that I have? For example, I could say that a lot of this dance that I did is about on stage, and that whole idea of the audience looking at me and cheering what I've done. So that sense of feeling I always have when I go to a stage and take a session today. Right. So in a session, in one way, though I'm not physically dancing, I think the skill set that I realized, and being on stage, and a lot many of my session, the reason why I can do a very good session also because of the stuff that I've done in the dance, and that is my truth. Well, how can you say that is no? So I have basically, you'll get these ideas, right? You'll get these ideas where you can connect ideas together, build the graph, connect the dots in your life, and then you'll think, oh my goodness, then you see, okay, this is who I am. I can get a story skeleton page which makes some sense to me. Okay, that is skeleton number 1. Once you identify, मैंने अभी इंटरव्यू में बोलने वाले डांस के बारे में, तो डिस्कशन तो होगा ही. तो डिस्कशन मतलब डिस्कशन will carry on. People at the end of the day keep asking knowledge stuff. क्या डांस कैसा है? How is this done different than this? That is a building muscle part. So the 2 stages would be sort of these 2 things in terms of preparation. The last stage is obviously is getting to interview prep and mock PI and stuff. So this is in summary what I sort of want to do. Want to tell you is that the starting point is it is not to look outside your preparation. The preparation start from looking within, looking inside, valuing what you've done, and that's where the story starts. Chalo. I will. बहुत बोल दिया मैंने टीपी.
बहुत अच्छा कवर किया है आपने. Good enough for the students to start off, get a starting point.
So, GP, I want to talk about this because GP has created story for many. I think there are cases when people come and say that "Oh, kuch nahi hai." You remember that case where people have not done something for 4 years, and how still there is a story there. Okay, so I think some of those things, if you share,
Yeah.
will be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was about to say I would want to talk a bit about the skeleton part again, because this is the base. Now, when you're looking at the skeleton part, now please remember that end of the day, this is just a compilation of whatever we have done without attaching any value. Now, when we talk about the skeleton, many times we say, but उस time पे तो कुछ खास नहीं हाँ कर रहा था, but कुछ फायदा नहीं है, कुछ खास नहीं है. The problem there is that you are attaching the current value to the past. You cannot superimpose present to the past. At that point of time, whatever you did, maybe it was important, maybe it was not. If it was important for you at that point of time, just put it down. Don't worry. Yeah, I like doing this. I did not like doing this. Just this to be. I would want this to be, as Sazi said, a laundry list of whatever you have done or not done, whatever you enjoyed, did not enjoy, whatever were your happy moments, not so happy moments, whatever gave you pleasure or gave you sadness, whatever it is, just put it down. Whether it is useful or not is something we'll look at it later. Okay, because there are many times you'll find that your failures are also a very important part of you. We don't talk about our failures. Why? Because failure की कैसे बात कर सकते हैं? But can you talk about any individual who's never failed in life? The fact is, all of us have failed failures at different stages of life, at multiple stages, multiple times. So each failure is a part of me. I have to own it up completely and not be apologetic about it. It is not something I have to boast, but I should not hide it. I should not be apologetic. One of the common example which I find is, sir, I repeated 12th class, or I dropped a year after this, or last 4 years I have been preparing for UPSC and I failed. Yeah, you failed. That's okay, but you prepared for it. You put a genuine attempt. That's it. But then they will reject me because I failed in UPSC. Boss, UPSC के लिए थोड़ा ले रहे हैं तुझे वो. Okay, so end of the day, all I want you to do is be completely honest to yourself. If it is important, yeah.
Sorry, GP. Sorry.
नहीं, चलो, yeah, you can continue.
So I was sorry, please.
No, go on. It's okay.
So मुझे एक स्टोरी याद आ गया. स्टोरी मतलब एक बच्चे का केस याद आ गया. So this is the boy who comes to me. I think he was initially preparing, and somebody. So basically क्या ना उसने 3 साल कुछ किया नहीं. So BCom किया था. After some 3-4 years, he has done nothing. Now he's got this call. I think I remember his call was Symbiosis or something. Okay, उसका call है. And he was preparing. Somebody said, कुछ तो तू कहानी बोल. Start preparing for current affairs. तो कुछ तो बोल. मैंने इधर काम किया उधर किया. I think his parents were some politician कुछ ऐसे बोल दिया. And then the student comes to me. Then I was discussing with the student, तेरा कहानी क्या है? Apparently he went through a relationship and broke down, and he was depressed. He was in depression for about 2-3 days. Then उसका because he was and he had a lot of fight, and he had to fight back, and sort of that is the story. Then I told him, यार देख तू सच बोल. And if somebody says that, what is your biggest achievement in your life? Biggest achievement is to sit here and give this interview, because what I've gone through in my life, and this there was a point in my life. This now that I'm having with you, this interview, I couldn't believe. The very fact that I took the examination and got 99%, I believe that's an achievement for me. It is his achievement, and it was a true achievement for him. So the key is that whatever is your sort of this achievement that you had or the value that you have, ये किसका है achievement? कौन बोल? तुम्हारा achievement है. Means for example, there could be achievement when somebody to stand in front of the stage and speaking to someone would have been achievement for someone. And there is a sense of achievement is yours, right? How it impacted your life. So going back to what GP was saying, you don't attach value to anything. If at all you attach any value to anything, whether it's failure or otherwise, it has always been valuable. Your experience, whether it is good, bad, everybody had struggles. Nobody has got easy life. Everybody got struggle, and even the interviewer knows it. No interviewer thinking that तुमने Mount Everest डाल के आया, is a perfect candidate. There is no perfect candidate. You're all faulty human beings with our own issues and problem. Everybody has it. So you don't have to sort of exaggerate. Genuine. So you have to make those values genuine inside you, and and then there is no need for any exaggeration. So yeah, so start from putting and sell it. Yeah, that's what I want.
Well said. Well said. Quickly, I want to take one question here, which he's been waiting for a long time for this, and इसमें कुछ something that I want to add. Sir, is documentation required? First of all, there are two things I want to say here. One is कि तूने कुछ किया है, उसका proof है. सबसे बड़ा proof क्या है? Certificate नहीं है. And I want to connect this to what Jijo said earlier. It is a knowledge you have. So, for example, yes, it helps if you have a certificate, a testimonial, or this and a that for as a proof for something you've done. That helps. But at the same time, if you have 10 certificates of 10 courses you've done, or whatever, and I ask you one question about each of them, and you don't know anything about it, that amounts to zero. Right? So yes, there's some certification, some documentation could be important, but more important is what you know about it, what you've done in that particular thing that you're talking about, right? So that is the proof of the pudding is in the eating of the pie, right? So that's how.
इसमें
सचिन
मुझे
सचिन सॉरी जीजो एक इसमें तुमको बताता हूँ लास्ट ईयर आई हैड अ स्टूडेंट he was playing poker since class 9th and he was such a good player in poker that he ensured that his family debts were taken care of. He won a few lakhs in poker and family debt उतार दिया उसने. अब बताओ ये इंटरव्यू में बोलना चाहिए कि नहीं? ठीक है? No, playing poker, people say negative. Boss, he earned it, he got it, he's a terrific player. This shows his competence. कोई सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है लेकिन इसका भी सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है उसके पास कि फैमिली डेट उतर गया. But should he say this? Yes, he has to say it. And the conviction in his voice, the way he handles questions, the way he's able to tell the story is what is going to convince the interviewer हाँ ये ठीक बोल रहा है कि नहीं बोल रहा. ठीक है? Interestingly, after poker, he shifted once he joined engineering. He shifted to what is called. He shifted towards finance and starting indulging in stock markets, where again he became a terrific person. So do you see a connection? Numbers. So the story, his story was numbers and numbers. Maths में अच्छा था, poker में अच्छा है, finance अच्छा कर रहा है. He's someone who's going to do terrific in finance and number related areas, and that is what our story for him was. So those of you are saying सर्टिफिकेट कितना जरूरी है तो अच्छा है नहीं है तो डोंट वरी इनसाइड द इंटरव्यू रूम द सर्टिफिकेट डज नॉट मैटर अ सर्टिफिकेट मैटर्स व्हेन दे हैव टू गिव यू पॉइंट्स कि अच्छा से एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर के पॉइंट देने हैं दैट इज आउटसाइड द इंटरव्यू रूम सो डोंट वरी अबाउट सर्टिफिकेट इनसाइड द इंटरव्यू रूम इट इज एज फजील सेड योर नॉलेज ऑफ द एरिया व्हिच यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हिच विल टेल मी कि ये सच बोल रहा है कि कहानी सुना रहा है
मैं जब कॉलेज में था जनरल सेक्रेटरी इज अ गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन आई नो हाउ इजी टू गेट सर्टिफिकेट इन कॉलेज ओके सेकंड ऑफ ऑल आई एम जस्ट गोना ट्रस्ट दैट माय मदर सेज दैट हर हस्बैंड इज माय फादर I'm trusting my mom. I've not asked for a certificate dikha. I'm basically saying that nobody is going to sit and say certificate iska certificate dikha uska certificate dikha. Well, kya hai? I think people are going to just assume what you're telling me is truth. And that is the starting point. As a human being, two human beings, you're telling something to me, I'm going to assume you're telling me the truth. When I'm going to talk to you, Azim, I'm going to tell you the truth. And if you have doubt in between, what is the best way to check? You don't certificate. So you'll dwell deeper. Kitna gaya. It's sort of easy to do it. So if you don't have certificate for certain things, you may not, for example, for certain things, you need certificate for extra point, like GP says. So for example, work experience ke liye, uske liye, to, you have to have documentation. But interview, I think, for many things that you want to say, क्या ही देगा सर्टिफिकेट या दिस
the certificate will only say that this person was employed from this date till this date. It will still not say तुमने क्या किया उसके अंदर. Were you on the bench? Were you on the bench or were you actually working? That the certificate will not say. So that will only come out in the interview in your story. Yeah, sorry.
So the weightage that in fact the weightage that is given for work experience for I'm going back IIM Bangalore a lot is based on the quality of work experience. तूने किया क्या उसका जो weightage होता है ना तो that is important anyway. एक VAT I think we'll not get too much into it. You're basically asked to write an essay. We might have a separate session on it. People stop writing. There is it's going to be for example if you look at the general topic. So this is a very general, but should special children be admitted to normal schools? Right attitude more than capability. So you've got age is nothing but a number. Basically general topic hota hai. Kabhi it will be current affairs topic. VAT is about I think in which case for a ZAT you want to write VAT. They have an essay. So anyway that is sort of a separate thing is it's about how well you can present your argument. So that's what this thing is going to be about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a sort of a prep plan at this point in time, I think you can combine that with ZAT prep. I'm sure that we would have we would probably have sort of a session separately for essay. And if you're prepared for that, I'm sure that you've got access to sort of some prep, and hopefully you'll get this. It's very similar, and yeah.
So
So
all our Z courses do have
yeah,
essay writing as one of the part, and so does PDP, right? So that's not a problem. But just want to share one thing, Jijo, before we move on. A lot of writing practice one should do, and do a lot of peer review. ठीक है, teachers मिले ना मिले, but peer review करा लो. ठीक है, it will give you a good starting point, good feedback to start with, and your prep will move on. I think that is
yeah.
the first suggestion.
It's about writing argument, right? It's about argumentation. So you're making a stance. So let's say whatever the stance that you're taking. So if you're good in critical reasoning, which I'm sure they prepare for the CAT. You've seen lot many essays that you've written. It's about good argumentation. It's not about knowing facts. It's about making an argument. You've got this premise, right? This is what I'm going to do. This is my sort of my reasoning for it. I'm explaining this. How well you can argue. Logical argumentation is a key. And there are some standard templates that you can use. You're going to write one essay. So this is something that you forgot. I mean, you've not written too many stuff. We are used to for a typing in our the Snapchat and Instagram and writing, sharing, feeding, and this you will have to work on this. Absolutely certain, you need to work on this. It's not just about knowing the facts. It's not just about knowing current affairs. At the end of the day, it's about your ability to write good arguments, write well. It's not even about English. How vocabulary is strong, मतलब simple सा अंग्रेजी काफी है.
So,
It's about
so
writing good argument. Yeah.
So writing a good argument में I just keep saying one thing to everyone. चार चीजें होती हैं जो लिखनी होती हैं. So whenever you say something, you take a stand, you have a position on something, support it with one of the four things. I think it was reason, logic, examples and facts. इनमें से कोई भी चीज यूज कर लिया तो आपका argument strong हो जाएगा. So with this we can actually move
Yeah.
on from there.
तो मैंने कुछ present किया है, I think that का. I think I don't, probably it is uploaded. I don't know. So if it is there, you can check this out. What should you do now, GP? अभी हमने बोल दिया, अभी क्या आप भी उसको क्या करना चाहिए पब्लिक को, जिसको कॉल आने वाला है.
काम पे लग जाना चाहिए.
काम पे लगो. स्केलेटन से शुरू करो बस.
See, I would say start with writing your story of your life so far, and without attaching value judgment. As I said, completely dispassionate. Just a laundry list of what all you have done in life so far, and then start saying, "अच्छा क्या अच्छा लगा, क्या नहीं लगा, क्यों किया, what were the reasons for doing whatever you did. If I dropped after class 12, why did I drop after class 12? Could I have done it without doing it, without dropping, and so on and so forth." So the first thing is going to be just a skeleton or the laundry list of whatever you have done in life so far, and then you start looking at anything else. Because till that time your skeleton is not there, तो मसल की बात करना बेकार है एकदम.
The second thing
So
is
that's the first thing.
दूसरा चीज फोल्डर बनाना है. फोल्डर में डालना शुरू करो चीजों को. If you are working, industry report डालना शुरू करो. Okay. Competitive about what is the report about industry, whatever is the data that you have, वो डालना शुरू करो. If you are just in your final year of complete whatever graduation, उसका
sorry. I don't know hold you there. पहले है ना guys, whatever company you're working for, कम से कम अपने product और services देख लो, क्या offer कर रहे हो, उतना तो कम से कम पता हो, कम से कम अपनी website छान लो. No basic things about your company, then you go forward, right? So I think that's where I was.
सब निचोड़ नहीं गया मतलब. And then तेरा कंपनी वाला एक फोल्डर दिखना चाहिए मेरे को. And then if you have not read some 10 reports about industry, don't talk to me only. Then you go to your graduation, जितना भी सब्जेक्ट अभी रोल मत, सर फर्स्ट ईयर काफी है क्या, सेकंड ईयर काफी है क्या, अभी डालना शुरू कर मतलब इसको. And then at least chemical engineer should know the difference between a chemist and a chemical engineer, no? Electrician should know. If I ask a question, electric engineer, what is the difference between electrician and electrical engineer? उतना तो आंसर तो आना चाहिए. Okay. Well, there are core things. For example, if you ask a question, what is the zeroth law? What is temperature? thermodynamics में how is temperature defined in thermodynamics? ये सवाल जवाब तो आना चाहिए. Okay, we'll have some conversation. Mechanical engineer should know this. Whatever, you're a BCom graduate, you should know this. Basic. Lot many questions are very basic. And then once you get in, people advance. ये पूछेगा वो लोग. But you can't escape. ग्रैंड वाला चीज वो आएगा. देन तुम्हारे गांव वाम के बारे में थोड़ा हिस्ट्री विस्ट्री वाले देयर आर लॉट मेनी कंटेंट दैट नीड्स टू हैपन. बट एटलीस्ट आई एम सेइंग दैट चीजों को इकट्ठा करके रखो साइड में, तो यू नो दैट इसके लिए. बट द की थिंग एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम इज टू लुक एट द स्टोरी स्केलेटन. दैट्स व्हाट यू गॉट टू डू. दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर सीएल की हेल्प चाहिए, so we have got sort of two program. One is PDP planned and PDP personalized. If you are a classroom student or you enroll for online plus this one, then this comes with you.
So,
You will
so,
get
so
sorry.
just to mention some of the CL. So talking to the CL students here, all the
Yeah.
CL students who have already joined a online class which has the PDPs as a part of the product, right? You will get the mails for that, and you will know it, right? So don't worry about it. You are already there. The classroom students, you are in beautiful hands already, right? There are other ways to get
This is
help also,
PDP
but
planned offline. हाँ, तो तेरे को PDP
yeah,
planned by your center. हाँ, वो मिल जाएगा
yes,
मतलब बस. हाँ.
तो वो मिल जाएगा. Now, yeah, go on, please.
इसमें बेसिकली क्या है, ज्ञान मिलेगा, मॉक इंटरव्यू मिलेगा, करंट अफेयर्स मिलेगा, एसओपी रिव्यू प्रैक्टिस सब मिल जाएगा. मतलब बेसिक बेसिक चीज मिलेगा. आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट इट इज, एंड दिस विल गिव यू ऑल डायरेक्शन, लॉट मेनी थिंग्स टू डू. देन वी आल्सो हैव अ पीडीपी पर्सनलाइज्ड. द ओनली डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस एंड दिस इज जीपी. बेसिक हाँ सेम है. एंड प्लस यू हैव अ मेंटर. So you have me as a mentor, you have someone as a mentor, and since and this is a PDP person, and then ये जो नौटंकी जो करना है, skeleton militant उसके लिए हम तब you can sort of take our help and we'll sit, we'll discuss. It's like, for example, if you look at PDP personalized, ऐसा simple है. If I want to define what's PDP personalized, अपने को call convert करना है बस, और कुछ है नहीं इस में. करना है call convert. तू जैसा भी है, प्रोफाइल जितना भी है, स्टोरी जैसा भी है, कन्वर्ट करना है कॉल. So basically, it's like, imagine you are the protagonist in the story. Tu hero hai. Script is yours. Audience is the interviewer. They should be impressed. Upon director. Mentor is a director. So we will look at your script and tell you, "Acha, ye mast hai." And they say that you, for example, we have initial discussion one-on-one with you. एक पहला one-on-one discussion. We'll spend about 1.5 hours to do this discussion. Then उसके बाद, then we'll give some homework. And initially sort of get your story in place and give you homework. Then you go through lot many stuff. एक mock interview किया, तो कुछ तो खराब हो गया, तो वापस आएंगे. We will discuss what happened and what are the things that you should focus on. ये चलता जाएगा 3 वाला 4 mock interview जो होता है ना, everything feedback you can discuss, and बीच में whatever the form will give review and lot many other things, and lot many things are same. You actually look at it, these are same, 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 these are same. Practically this is also same. The basic difference is एक तुम्हारे साथ एक director बैठा है बस. So that is PDP personalized as a course. If you wish to look at PDP personalized, then you can check it. So that is basically about the course. You can check out. I think this is about 30 grand, I believe. Na? Kuch to hai. If you want to look, I think this is about 15 grandish. If you want the course separately, if you're not a class student, want to pick the course, and the differences between this and this. Yeah.